Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Awakening Heart Community of Mindful Living here at Dallas Meditation Center. Really glad that you've joined us tonight. And if you're here, well, we're broadcasting live. Welcome to you. And if you catch us later, like find us on YouTube or show up in a search or just watching this later, welcome to you as well. And if you're new to the practice, please stay around. And it's a pretty easy practice to catch on. Just really be there, being present with your breath. And I have a little bit of an announcement before we get started, just so you're prepared for next week. So two things next week. Next week we will be meeting in person and also online through Zoom. So just know you have either option. But the one thing for you to know here on YouTube is we will not be broadcasting live on YouTube next week. So come directly to Zoom. Some of you already know the Zoom link, and that will be the link for next week as well. It might change at some point in the future, but for next week it'll be the same one. And if not, you can always come to our website and get the latest one. But just know that for next week. So just know the Zoom link, and if you don't know it, you can always go to our website and go to the there's a option up in the top menu bar that says meditation groups, and you can use that, and that will give you a place where you can sign up, and then the link will be sent back to you. So anyway, that's for next week. But for this week, stay here on YouTube, and then a little bit later, we'll go over to Zoom for sharing and discussion. And I do hope that you'll come along with that. So for now, I'll say sit back. And if you know the opening affirmation, you can say it along with Lisa.
Noble community, we gather here now to honor the way of peace and nonviolence, the way of wisdom and compassion, the way of joy and beauty. In solidarity with one another, with all humanity, and with all life on earth. Friends on the path, we gather here now to deepen our solidity like a mountain and to renew our freshness like a flower. Through mindful sitting and walking, mindful singing and breathing, mindful speaking and listening. Family of awakening, we gather here now to celebrate the one infinite light that shines through many religions and many cultures, to cultivate the wisdom of our many teachers, both ancestral and contemporary, and to affirm the capacity within ourselves and all persons of every race, gender, orientation, and tradition to realize full and complete enlightenment.
So you took a little tour there. Very good. So glad that you are joining us this evening. So, when I was driving here in the rain, I thought about this little song that we sing occasionally. And so I wanted to sing it for you and with you if you want to join in. It just begins, the sun shines on everyone. And then you repeat that. No discrimination, no discrimination. The sun shines on everyone, no discrimination, no discrimination. The rain falls on everyone, no discrimination, no discrimination. The breeze flows on everyone. The breeze flows on everyone. no discrimination, no discrimination. My heart belongs to everyone. My heart belongs to everyone. No discrimination, no discrimination. Perhaps that can be our guide tonight as we do this practice, as we practice together and share, doing our best to let go of discrimination. And before we hear the contemplation, I just want to tell you a little bit about the meditation and what you can expect. So today, I plan to offer a meditation for part of our time together. And in this particular kind of meditation, I will use the bell to signal when you'll hear some guidance and when you'll have a few minutes to practice it. So it goes like this. You will hear, and then I will say something to help you focus your attention. And then I will be giving you a word or two to think about. And then there will be this full sound of the bell as an invitation for you to practice the suggested guidance. So let's begin by settling into our meditation posture, whether you're sitting on a chair, a cushion, or lying down. Just pick a spot where you can be still and relatively undisturbed for about 20 minutes. And please enjoy the contemplation before sitting.
The Sangha is invited to go back to our breathing so that our collective energy of mindfulness brings us together as an organism, going as a river with no more separation. Let the whole Sangha breathe as one body, generate peace as one body, be free as one body. Let us transcend the boundaries of a delusive self, liberating ourselves from the superiority complex, the inferiority complex, and the equality complex. We are aware that the happiness and suffering of all people is also our own happiness and suffering. We see ourselves in all people and all people in ourselves. We are one with those caught in situations of oppression. We are also one with the oppressors. We are one with the wise and good people who are present everywhere in the world. We are one with those who are able to embrace the whole of their heart of love and two arms of caring action. We are people with enough peace, joy, and freedom to be able to offer fearlessness and the joy of life to living beings around us. We see that we are not alone. The love and the joy of great beings who are present in this world are supporting us, not allowing us to drown in despair, and showing us the way of understanding, compassion, and right action.
So as we continue to settle into our meditation, see if you can picture tossing a stone into a lake or a stream. When the stone first hits the water, it creates ripples that expand across the surface of the water. Sort of like the way thoughts create ripples that expand into more thoughts in your mind. But the stone doesn't stay on top of the water. It slowly, effortlessly sinks to the bottom of the lake or the stream and settles quietly into the soft bed of the lake or the stream. Be like that stone, slowly allowing your body to settle very gently, effortlessly into your chair, your cushion, your meditation space. Thoughts and sensations will continue to arise on the surface of your mind, but the ripples cannot disturb your deep stillness and calmness. From this place of inner stillness, we will continue our meditation. Breathing in, I feel my chest rise as my lungs fill with fresh air. Breathing out, I feel my chest fall as my lungs release stale air. Chest rising, chest falling, rising, falling. Breathing in, I relax all the cells in my two eyes. Breathing out, I release all the tension in my two eyes. Relaxing eyes, releasing tension, relaxing, releasing. Breathing in, I allow my whole face to soften. Breathing out, I smile to my face. Soft face, smile. Soft face, smile. Breathing in, I relax my shoulders, dropping any burdens I may be carrying. Breathing out, I smile. Relaxing shoulders, smile. Relaxing shoulders, smile. Breathing in, I release tension and discomfort in my whole torso. Breathing out, I smile. Releasing tension, smile. Releasing tension, smile. Breathing in, I allow my hips to sit comfortably on my cushion or my chair. Breathing out, I rest. Sit comfortably, rest. Sit comfortably, rest. Breathing in, I relax every cell in my legs, knees, ankles, feet, and toes. Breathing out, I smile to my legs, knees, ankles, feet, and toes. Relaxing every cell, smiling. Relaxing, smiling. Breathing in, I am aware of my inner stillness. Breathing out, I smile. Inner stillness, smile. Inner stillness, smile. Breathing in, I send my love and appreciation to my whole body. Breathing out, I smile. Love and appreciation, smile. Love and appreciation, smile. Breathing in, I feel still and calm. Breathing out, I feel peaceful, still and calm, peaceful, still and calm, peaceful. Please enjoy the next 5 minutes of silence, resting in the calm, peaceful stillness within. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be joyful. May all beings be at peace. Brahma Vihara Maitri. Brahma Vihara Karuna. Brahma Vihara Mudita. Brahma Vihara Upeksha. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be joyful. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be at peace.
Please join me in the refuge chant to the three jewels. We take refuge in the Buddha, the awakening heart of infinite light, that which shows us the way in this life. We take refuge in the Dharma, the awakening path of infinite light, the way of understanding and of love. We take refuge in the Sangha, the awakening community of infinite light, those who live in harmony and awareness.
Well, thank you for the guided meditation, Bobby, and thank you, Lisa, for facilitating tonight. And so I'll do a few announcements now, just before we introduce our speaker. And I'm going to mute Bobby for a second here because it's echoing a little bit over on this end. So just a few announcements. I made one earlier, but I will say that for those of you who may have joined later. Since July 1st is coming up, some of the events at the Meditation Center will begin meeting in person. Some of them in person only, some online only, and some that will be a hybrid, both online and in person. And so please do check the website for your group and which one it is, and see what if it's going to be live or online or which. For the Awakening Heart group, which you're at tonight, Sunday Awakening Heart. That will be in person and online starting next week. And just a heads up to those of you who joined through YouTube, there will be no YouTube next week. It will be Zoom. So come to Zoom right away from the very beginning, rather than YouTube first and then come over to Zoom. And I will show you, because I can, where if you know the Zoom link from previous weeks, it's the same. It'll be the same next week. It'll probably change in the future. But for now it will be the same, but I will show you how to get to it in case you should ever get there and there's no meeting there. Let's see, I will show you. You can always come to the website, and if you look right at the top here, there's two ways. You'll see something that says meditation groups up here, or if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see meditation events, weekly meditation schedule. And in these boxes for each of our Awakening Heart groups, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you will find how to get information. There will be a link. Right now it says click for info and request the Zoom ID, but that's where you will find, is it online or is it in person? And you can also come up to meditation groups and click that. Sorry, I'm giving you your quick use the website, and you'll see each of the meditation groups here. Right now they're all online. Some of those will start switching this week to online plus in person, or just in person or online, and you click those, and that will take you to a link where you can fill in your information, and you will receive back the information of how to log into the Zoom meeting. So that's how you do it. And so I'm going to stop sharing that now and come back here. I will read now those people who have checked in, and you can continue checking in if you would like in the YouTube chat window. But right now, Catherine says, bowing in and grateful to be here. Angie bowing in. Neil bowing in. And Sandy says, namaste. And if there are others who want to check in, I might read those before we sign off here on YouTube. But for now, I'll say also in the chat window, I have put the link for donations, and and so if you would help support these gatherings so that they may continue, and the link is in the chat window, dallasmeditationcenter.com/give, or you can donate by text by sending mindful to 44321. And Dana is an important part of our practice, giving as well as receiving. So sharing in these gatherings, besides just receiving and partaking in what's presented, you also share with all of the others as well by making sure that they happen. And that's part of Dana and part of these gatherings. And also welcome to Tina bowing in, and blessings to all. This is from Milena. Blessings to all. Happy to be here. So with that, if Bobby, if you'll turn your video back on, I can spotlight you. And thank you. And could you please introduce our very special guest speaker tonight?
Yes, I am very, very happy to introduce our special guest. Ashley's been a visitor here with us last year, and I think it was last year. And so it's always a delight when she comes to town and has time to come and visit with us. Ashley is, I think, a very creative person. She's a poet, an actress. She writes. She's been in some plays and movies. So, you know, her creativity shows up in all those different ways. But I think what I'm very impressed with, and I haven't said this to her, so I don't mean to embarrass her, but I'm very impressed that she's been able to do all of that in the environment in which that sort of all those acting and those kinds of things happen. And she has stayed true to her practice. And I think that's remarkable. So I'm very impressed by that. So welcome with me, Ashley Wilkerson.
Hello, dear friends. It's good to see you. It's good to be back. Like I said before, Dallas Meditation Center is one of my spiritual homes. And it's just always a joy. It's always a joy. And I have, from this angle, Thich Hanh to my right. And from this angle, I have my dear brother Chi Sing to my left. And so I just want to say that was such a delicious meditation that Bobby led. I was sitting here and I thought, what a gift we have as students on the path, as friends on the path. We know the power of stillness, and we know the power of watching our breath, and just no matter how often I do it, once I come back, to the present moment, I'm always just honored, absolutely honored that I have this practice, and it's never leaving me because it has greatly impacted my life as a practitioner, and it has impacted my life just in everyday, ordinary living. And so my theme for tonight, it was originally called Finding Peace on the Path When Friendships Change. You can take a moment. I saw some head nods. Because we're on the other side of this. Well, I won't say we're quite on the other side of this pandemic, but things are opening up. And as things are opening up, as we know, as spiritual beings having a human experience, sometimes there's a lot of resistance. We're not quite ready. We're saying, I'm ready to bust open and do all these things, but so much has happened in this past year. And so I'd like to invite you to think of the ways you've been a friend to yourself, or think of the ways you may not have been as friendly to yourself, because it starts with us. It's like the meta prayer. We start with ourselves and then we extend it out to others. And a lot has happened. a lot is happening. I know personally, so many friendships were changing before the pandemic. And it's like when the pandemic hit, it was like, whew. I don't know what you want. You could call it a tsunami. You can call it, I don't know. It's just, there's been a lot of changes. And I've done a lot of work with people who are feeling it as well. Even changes within your family, because the emotional toll that COVID-19 has had on us, in addition to the racial strife, it has just been a year. And I was really reminded of how quickly time passed and how things remained the same. Just before I came in to sit today, there's what I like to call it, being raised in the church, a little prayer box outside. And I went to write my prayers, and put them in the box. And I saw that there were 2 prayers in the box from last year, and they were from me. Because the Dallas Meditation Center hasn't quite been open to the public, my prayers from last year were still in the box. And so I thought, this is really symbolic, because it's like sowing a seed, planting a seed. And that was fruit, that the seed didn't go anywhere. I'm sure someone prayed, probably you, Bobby, blessed those prayers. And it was just a reminder. And I even opened up the piece of paper to see, am I still praying for the same thing? Okay, that's cool. Life happens. Let me open up the other. Oh, okay. This is a familiar prayer. Okay. And so I just took it upon myself to sign and date. So now I have 3 mighty prayers in the prayer box. And when we open up for the collective next Sunday, I'm sure the prayer box will grow. Whew. Now, as I take that breath, I am reminded of how necessary it is to be gentle with myself. How necessary it is to lay hands on myself if need be. How necessary it is to be forgiving and laugh at my own self. We take a lot of things so seriously. And so before we can even begin to explore or examine our friendship changes, let's take a moment to think about how we've changed. So, have you looked at yourself in the mirror lately? Have you really looked at yourself? I don't know if you're like me. I noticed some gray hairs that I know showed up strong in 2020. I was like, now, where did you come from, gray hair? Oh, and where did you come from? Oh, there's another. And then I just stopped counting. And then you look on your face and you're like, oh my goodness. So this is the after effects of 2020. And after you do that, and after I did that, I smile. A really sincere, not forced, but a serious smile. I started looking at myself with the eyes of compassion. And I started talking back to myself like, wow, you beautiful being. You made it. Look at you. I'm so proud of you. And so from that space of a very full cup, and as you know, we're in Earth School, so you have to constantly refill your cup, sit down, get still. And it's from that space of really looking at myself with clear eyes, as I said, with the eyes of compassion and with the eyes of truthfulness. Then I can examine all of my other relationships. And there have been moments where I really, really had to extend that same grace and compassion to so many friends and to so many loved ones who I like to say have been feeling it too. Whatever it is, they've been feeling it too. And so the theme for the year is Friends on the Path. And if you know, like I know, the path is not always straight. I mean, depending on which year or month or decade, it can feel like, I don't know, it's a labyrinth, you know? If you're honest with yourself, you feel like you're walking through a labyrinth. And what I love about labyrinths is it requires you to really surrender, take your time, and trust the process. And so I think about that when I examine situations that change, friendships that change. If I apply that same principle and practice of surrendering and taking my time and trusting the process, it allows me to be a lot more gentle with people. But as I said before, it started with me being gentle with myself. Let's take a breath. Now I want to invite you to place your hands on your heart. And let's just take a moment to check in with our own rhythm, our own heartbeat. Is your heart beating fast? Does it sound like those raindrops that Bobby sang so beautifully about and that those of us in Dallas observed? A little pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. Is the beat a little slower? Just observe your breath. Now I want to invite you to think of someone in your life, a friend, a family member, where it feels like there's a little bit of, I don't know, the energy is not as fluid as you like. It may be a little stagnant, might be a little disjointed. There might be some discomfort. Take a moment. See if you can picture that person in your mind. Now I want you to imagine that they have their hands on their heart. And both of you are sitting in front of each other, trying to find the rhythm. Keep breathing. Now I want you to imagine that you're taking one hand and you're placing it on the heart of your loved one or your friend, and that they're placing a hand on your heart. So regardless of the tension, the stress, the strife, in this moment, you're connected. Let's see if the beats can sync up just for a moment. Now place your hand back over your heart. whether physically or in your mind's eye. Just give your heart a little massage, just a little rub, a circle. And when you're ready, just place your hands back on your palm or on your knees. That's the work. Now, as the world is opening back up slowly but surely, how can we hold on to that moment, that sensation that we just had, or that memory of connection? There's an invisible thread that we are all tied to. And if you know, like I know, sometimes the thread, it gets really tangled, especially when it's people who are close to you, the people who you love the most, the people who challenge you. So how do we keep that thread straight? That's a good breath. Now, clearly we don't have to have all the answers right now. This is just an invitation to start thinking about it, right? I was also thinking about what is it, let me think how I can say this. Because sometimes it's easier, I have found, to have more compassion for the youth and the children, the babies, than we can for some of these adults, right? And so I love doing inner child work when I find myself, feeling really frantic. I go back to my little self. I ask her what she needs. Sometimes it's to cry. Sometimes it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Sometimes I need to go and twirl in the backyard. And sometimes it's a nap, like a kindergartner. And so when I remind myself to be friends with that little person inside me, at times it becomes much easier to be friends to the little person inside those who may not be as friendly to us in this moment. Because when you're children, there's a certain level of ease and grace and joyfulness and understanding that children have. Now I want to talk about the lessons and the blessings, or some people think the blessing is in the lesson, that some of our friends on the path bring us. You know the term seasons, reasons, lifetime, friends. And what I found, because I had a friend once who would say, well, don't you want all of these like lifetime friends? And when you understand the nature of impermanence, none of this is forever, right? So really the prize is in the day-to-day. The peace and the joy is in the present moment. Because really that's what we all have. And so when I think about different friends I met on the path and different friends I'll continue to meet on the path, some people are not meant to walk with you forever. Sometimes they're not even meant to walk with you longer than a week. But that does not mean that they didn't come bearing great fruit, or that the lessons that they gave you were in vain, or that the lessons you gave them were in vain. And so it's been a really rich experience, realizing that, especially in this last year, trying to hold on to the gift, even as relationships Some of them dissolve. Some of them have transformed. Some of them will transform into something else. And then, you have those friendships that come back around eventually, But in this season, it may have ended for whatever reason. And so it's important for us when we find ourselves wanting things to be absolutely different or responding negatively, it's important for us to just remember that just as we go through our own cycles, just as we are experiencing great transformation even before 2020, just in this thing called life, that the people we love are doing the same thing. And sometimes they may not have the language to articulate that. There are some people who, I know I've been guilty of it. I've observed, wow, they're still the same. They're not growing. They're not, all of these judgments that I have to be mindful of because I don't know their internal dialogue. I don't know their internal compass. I don't know really what transformation is happening that is naked to my eye, that I can't see. And neither do you. And vice versa. So as we are, in a way, there's a reawakening, there is a major opening that's happening, and a lot of people aren't ready. And it's okay if you're one of those people who aren't ready. That's okay, But eventually you're going to have to get ready. Eventually you're going to have to get there, And so if we can just remember to keep checking in with ourselves, being honest with ourselves, being a friend to ourselves, it's going to be so much easier to extend that same loving kindness to those who aren't quite ready. I know there was all this talk about how we have been forced to sit still and how the world has shifted. And, this, let me clarify. Do you remember March 15, 2020? It feels like centuries ago. But there was all this talk about people are really going to sit down and we're really going to we're going to dig our roots into the earth. We were going to ground ourselves. And this was a great opportunity to just begin again. And it happened in some ways. And I'm grateful that we were able to experience even just a little bit of that. But in my observation, it seemed like Mother Nature and Mother Earth is always the greatest teacher. They showed us what to do, because when winter came, people were, the leaves were dying off and, resting so that when spring came, it could, the flowers could bloom. And so unfortunately, a lot of us didn't really rest. We haven't fully rested. It was uncomfortable. The world was going through so much turmoil. You may have wanted to rest, but couldn't. You may have had loved ones who were sick. You may have wanted to rest, but you had to tend to them. And so as we go out into the world, as I said, as things are opening up even more, we want to be a little more kind because people are sleep deficient. People are tired. And you may be one of those who may be tired. And so as you begin to move into this new phase, and as we collectively begin to move into this new phase, and I want to acknowledge all of the people who've been doing their spiritual work. Because as you know, this work we do is not just for ourselves. We sit, we go to Sangha, we connect for those who can't. When you are weak, I am strong. When I am weak, you are strong. This is what keeps humanity moving forward. So I want to acknowledge those who were able to rest and who were able to hold high court when the world was shaking, even if it was your immediate circle or on a larger group. We thank you. Those of you who have continued with your practice, as that beautiful compliment you gave me, I'm so honored. And I also am like, I don't know any other way at this stage, you know? Every day I wake up, I have arrived, I'm at home. When I go to sleep, I have arrived, I am at home. And this spiritual understanding has definitely anchored me in a city where, for those who don't know, I've been living in Los Angeles, in a city where there's such a need to strive, and there's always this, I'm waiting on the next best thing, I need to arrive, but to understand that I am home in my own body. And to be gentle with myself when I don't have that clarity. And to be gentle with myself when I'm not feeling as confident or emotionally strong. And to be gentle with myself when some days I'm just having a human experience and I'm just like, it does feel like I'm sitting on hot coal. You just burn it up, you know. And so from that space of truthfulness and honesty and integrity with myself, I have no other choice but to extend that same grace and love to my friends on the path. Even when the friendship looks different, even when the path looks different, allowing myself to walk with grace and holding space and working through the discomfort. Sometimes it's pain for others on the path. And so, dear friends, what will you do? What are you going to do? What are you doing? How are you taking care of yourself? Because we have such a precious moment right now where we can be in a little cocoon. Even though things are opening, you know, visualizing yourself in an egg, blessing yourself, saying those prayers, may I be at peace, may I move with ease, may I be happy. And from that very whole place, may you be at peace, may you be at ease, may you be happy. And not trying to control it. It's like what I mentioned at the very beginning when I looked in that prayer box and my prayers were still in there from last year. I didn't have this reaction of like, why is it still here? You know what I had and what I have is trust. Trust that it's still here for a reason and that those seeds are being planted, even if it doesn't look like it. Sometimes we don't even have to keep praying. We can say a different prayer. We don't have to keep saying the same prayer. And I'd like to invite you to think of ways in which, even for those in your life, what ways in which you can switch up the prayer about your relationship or about their needs. Just think about it this week. What's a new prayer I can say for that friend or that friendship that has changed? Sometimes the prayer is thank you. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Thank you. So let's take a breath together. And from this space of just sheer gratitude, think of a lesson that a friend taught you this past year that at the time didn't seem so sweet, but now that you're moving on the other side, you can taste the fruit. Give you a moment. And don't be hard on yourself if you can't think of it. It's okay. It'll come to you. And when you found it, I want you to mentally thank the friend who gave you that blessing. And if there's another friend, thank them as well. And I'd like to close reminding you to thank yourself. When was the last time you did that? Thank yourself for showing up. For rising when you felt like you couldn't. Thank yourself for being generous and loving. And be even sweeter to yourself. Because we know, and as cliche as it is, when you're treating yourself like a gift, really, I had to take a breath because this is like when you're really treating yourself like a gift, like the precious gift you are. And being friendly with yourself when you're not even a fan of your own self, because it happens. You look at yourself and say, self, how dare you? I can't believe you act like that. But still finding that tenderness in your own heart for your own good self, for your own beautiful life. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so much easier to extend that same goodbye, positivity to others. And I'm not going to say it's going to be easy all the time, but the reward is so much sweeter. I know that for a fact. So good friends, that's my talk. I hope something resonates. that there were seeds. And if I see you from a year from now, you know, I might have put something in your prayer box and that I'll return to and I'll be like, wow, what a gift. Welcome to the new normal. Thank you very much. Deep bow to you all.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Ashley. Very good reminders. And I know there's a lot to talk about. So I sincerely hope that those of you that are watching on YouTube will join us on Zoom and join us to share. And maybe if you have a question or a comment or an experience that you'd like to share with Ashley and with us, that would be wonderful. So I guess we'll do the closing chant, unless Cornell has something he wants to add.
Yeah, I'll just say one thing while you're scooting it over to Lisa for the closing. I'll just mention, after the closing, we will finish up our time here on YouTube, and so go ahead and come over to Zoom at that point. The link is in the chat window. And then just one final reminder, next week we won't have the live session on YouTube. Come directly to Zoom. If you're coming online, go to Zoom right at 5 o'clock and we'll be there. And those of you who want to come to the center in person, there will be some people here. But watch the mailing list. There will be some announcements because a little bit of the protocol of when you enter the building and stuff will be a little bit different than it was before the pandemic, and that will be talked about on the mailing list, as well as there will be signs here in the center about that. But join us on Zoom next week. But for right now, let's do the closing and then come over to Zoom because I want to hear Ashley's wonderful message continue with all of you. So please say the closing along with Lisa.
Countless beings we vow to free, ceaseless afflictions we vow to end, limitless truth doors we vow to open, the deepest paths of awakening we vow to realize.
Okay, so goodbye to those of you who are on YouTube. We'll close you out now, but hop over to Zoom. We're waiting for you.